So yeah, okay. DEI medical school garbage. This time it's UCLA. So DEI will kill you, by the way. DEI will literally kill you. I mean, there's so many different ways it can kill you, right? Because ultimately it's Marxism at core, at the root, right? Foundation of it is all Marxism, just this, and just you have all these different arms of the octopus disguised as other things. But it will kill you. It'll starve you to death, or it'll deny you health care, or give you terrible health care, or it'll give you medical assistance in dying, as Trudeau's very eager to do to as many Canadians as possible. From the Daily Wire, earlier this week, we reported on diversity, equity, and inclusion over at Duke University School of Medicine. Surgical teams that are being infused with DEI principles. Diversity, equity, and inclusion principles. Medical schools that are teaching wokeness as opposed to actual medicine. Well, that doesn't sound good. We asked listeners to send us tips regarding the inculcation of DEI into medical schools, and the organization Do No Harm showed us the following. Internal emails from UCLA's medical school, which is one of the best in the country. Sounds like it may not be one of the best in the country anymore. As a matter of fact, shows a mandatory class called Structural Racism and Health Equity. It instructed UCLA medical students to read about wars of indigenous resistance in which Native Americans killed thousands of white people so the students could imagine what liberation could look like. They want you dead. It's getting clearer and clearer, isn't it? It really is. Maybe they gave him a book on Haiti, too. Sounds like they'd be a big fan of that. Let's see. We've obtained internal emails from UCLA's medical school, supposedly one of the best in the country. If you want to understand how DEI and anti-white, anti-American hatred have been mainlined into the medical profession, you need to see this. From Ben Shapiro. This is legitimately what is being taught at medical schools like UCLA. And this stuff is crazy. I mean, it's like I always say this, it's like you're in an alternate universe episode of the Twilight Zone or something. This is like the Soviets won the Cold War or something. This is legitimately what is being taught at medical schools like UCLA. You have to be inculcated into the cult of wokeness in order to actually achieve that which you seek to achieve, which of course is the DEI principle. Meanwhile, students are taught about, quote, indigeneity, blackness and indigeneity, and how we can imagine a world in the aftermath of settler colonialism and white supremacy. So this is the praxis of all this stuff, like critical race theory and all of that, right? It's the assumption that it's true. It's the assumption that it's a white supremacist society, then structurally white supremacist and systemically racist and all of that. And then you just work from there. But you have to assume that it's all just true. Every crazy, batshit crazy thing they say, every word salad they spew, it's all true. Because if you interrogate it even just slightly, even just for a moment, it's obviously not true, and they can't be having that. Students are also told that for further recommended reading, they should read an article titled Decolonization is not a metaphor. Decolonization is not a metaphor. When people say decolonization is not a metaphor, what they mean is that they are excusing actual violence. Yes. What else could it mean exactly? Imagine a world in the aftermath, quote, imagine a world in the aftermath of settler colonialism and white supremacy. That means eviscerating all of these social structures, because what the left means when they say settler colonialism is literally anything the West has done. And when they say white supremacy, they don't mean white people believing they are superior to black people. They mean all the structures of society are inherently racist. Well, this is the sort of thing you'd say if you wanted to destroy a society so that you could build up some bullshit utopia from the ashes, the utopia that will never exist. The emails from this first-year class over at UCLA's School of Medicine also reveal that students are encouraged to listen to a podcast titled Indigene, which covers an array of unscientific garbage including people who identify as two-spirit and womenks. You can't say women because the word includes men. Thus, they say women, which is not even pronounceable. Yeah, they're right about that. Let's go to this. Let's go to this Indigene podcast. So there you go. Right off the bat, you've got, well, no, actually, that's interesting. They've got men in it, but they've moved the X to the front. Wixmen's. You know what? I think that's a typo. I think they meant to do Wimminksons or however you say it. I guess the Indigene podcast needs a copy editor. Let's see now. Let's try and imagine what this could have to do with like learning how to be a doctor, say, or a surgeon. All episodes were guided by an advisory board of elders, mothers, and daughters who came together from tribal nations across Turtle Island, also known as North America. I mean, really, it's only actually known as North America, really, but, I don't want to make a fuss. To define topics, guests, and discussions, this powerful group of women who gifted their time to Indigene were in the driver's seat. Guest speakers share so many important lessons. Their laughter, stories, and teachings are medicine. Yeah, but not like actual medicine, though, right? Like maybe nice. And I don't have any problem with this podcast. It sounds like a nice thing, and they get together, and it's a pleasant experience for everybody. And I absolutely encourage them. But again, it's not actual medicine. Why would you want people who should be focused on learning how to heal people and not kill people because they're incompetent? Why would you want them to waste their time on this? Because I'm afraid this is a waste of time if you're trying to become adept at modern medicine. I think there's a lot to learn. Now, of course, this is in every country. And Canada is, I think, ahead of pretty much every other country when it comes to wokeness. I actually did a video on this earlier in the week you can check out. We won't spend long on this, but University of British Columbia is hiring a research chair in neuromodulation in spinal cord rehabilitation. So what does it say here? It says that the Canada Research Chair Equity, Diversity, and Inclusive Action Plan guides the university's efforts to sustain the participation of people with disabilities, Indigenous people, racialized people. There's that racialized. They like to throw it in everywhere. Women. I like how they women is just it's half the people, right? Somehow they worked it out so they could be a minority group as well. Very clever, very cunning. And people from minoritized gender identity groups, and thus pursuant to Section 42 of the BC Human Rights Code, UBC is currently restricted in the recruitment, selection, and nomination of CRCs to members of these groups. So no straight white men need apply. I don't know that's most of the men. And I don't know, some of them might be really good at it. I just feel like, neuromodulation and spinal cord rehabilitation. I just feel like that's something that you just kind of want the best people for. It seems like kind of important, right? Like when it comes to your, something like your spine, you kind of want the top spine guy, right? It is your spine after all. But maybe the spine guy that you get, maybe he's not there for merit. You kind of want merit in that. I think everybody of every background, color, whatever, just wants the best guy. Can I get the best guy for my spine, please? I don't want the guy who got the job to make everybody feel better or something, because it wouldn't make me feel better. It wouldn't make my spine feel better if something happened with my spine that shouldn't have happened. So, top spine guy, please. Doctors protest proposed DEI emphasis in Canadian medical school training. Canada's just so fucking retarded now. The report calls for decentering medical expertise. Kind of feels like the last thing you would want to decenter. Medical expertise in favor of topics such as, can you guess, decolonization, social justice, inclusive compassion. What the fuck has that got to do with fixing my spine? Jesus Christ.